Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Money Matters Top Tips for Success, where each and every day I bring on new business owners, entrepreneurs, and executives and have them share their top tips for success with you. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, moneymatterstoptips.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Mark McClatchey on the line, and he's a business development manager over at PayTech Trust. Mark, welcome to the show.
Thanks very much, Adam. Great to be here. I appreciate the invite.
So I'm excited to get into today's topic, networking and the value add of, and the value of discovering the value add of others. Awesome topic. A lot of business owners, entrepreneurs, executives listening right now, and networking is a big deal. But before we get into that, I do want to get into what you're doing over at PayTech Trust. So first, just tell us a little bit more about the business, please.
I appreciate that, and thanks for the question. Well, we offer and excel in offering back-end operations support where we focus on improving efficiencies, and obviously down the road we also want to cut costs, and we work in the space of merchant processing and payroll.
That's awesome. And just to give the audience a little bit more of a feel for the type of client that's right, if they want to follow up at the end, we're going to leave your contact info, all that stuff, but just so that they know if they're the right type of client to follow up, what kind of clients do you typically work with?
Well, when it comes from referrals, I never stop any referrals coming my way, so I'll work with any customers that are needing me in that space, but when I'm focusing on customers, and the ones that I like to work with most are in the B2B space and nonprofits and associations. That's where I hang my hat at 98% of the time.
That's awesome. Well, let's switch it up a bit, Mark. I want to get into today's topic. So networking and the value of discovering the value add of others. Where do you want to start with that one?
Well, I appreciate that. I like this topic because, there are, and 1,000 is a low number, but let's just use the number for 1,000 companies that do what I do. So when I got back into this industry after a brief hiatus, I wanted to make a difference, and more importantly, make an impact with the business owners and not be seen like, oh, yeah, I've seen you guys before. And I dove in, I talked to a few coaches, and I realized that, if I spend, more than 50% of my time looking to find the various problems that business owners have outside of one of my own solutions, I'm going to create more business partners, more networking opportunities, and down the road, more referrals by helping business owners with any number of things, because I've worked for the last several years to extend my network where if a business owner has any problem or need, whether it's personal or professionally, I guarantee you I have a guy or a girl in my network that can provide that solution more efficiently at a better cost and better service.
Man, that's amazing. And what it comes down to is, you kind of made yourself into the ultimate connector of things, and in doing this, adding value wherever you go. That being said, for what has been your response to this approach? And the reason I ask that is because I don't want to make it sound apparent. So some of the people listening are like, okay, that sounds great, and that's fine, but that's a little bit extra in terms of work or thought process. What has been your response to this approach? Because I'm like, I love knowing people like you. I'll be up front. I'm like, oh, I love it. I know who to call, and I can have some things solved.
Well, if I can lead into it first from a different angle, I notice a lot of people when I'm out networking, they're out looking for referrals, and I can't fault them for wanting referrals. But when you tend to look for referrals, I think you miss a lot of opportunities. So when I go out, I'm looking for people that solve unique problems and have great solutions to those problems, because every business owner or nonprofit or association I meet, they may need me today or next month, but they probably have another problem or a solution that is a front burner issue. And if I know a guy or a girl that solves that problem, I can be forever in the forefront of the mind of that business owner at all times, because, oh yeah, Mark was the guy that connected me with that particular person. And as far as some of the reaction I've got today, I have a great story from a network connection who shared with me last night. He came to me and he's like, Mark, I know all the good that you've been doing by helping out so many people. I'd like to sit down with you. I've just picked up some new clients, and I'd really like to open the door for you in that regard. And, just that feeling of that impact that has been noted, recently by several folks of where I've made an impact in the community I'm getting referrals where people feel like, man, I really want to help him out. And if that is such a joy, I feel blessed having, that type of mentality, because I never give to get. I give because I have the ability to give, and I believe in karma, and I know I will get enough of what I need if I just keep finding problems and giving people solutions, whether it's me directly or someone in my network.
Man, that's amazing. And so what do you find? And I know this is going to vary, but I know you're out, you network, and a lot. There's different people. So some people build their businesses off of referrals and networking and other things, and they go out there and get it. And I know, and our call was scheduled. So this interview, I've been trying to get you on the line for a bit. So 2 or 3 times we rescheduled, and I'm not saying that's pick on you. I'm just saying for the audience so they understand that Mark is the real deal. Like, you go out there, you get it done. You definitely get your hands dirty with out there networking and shaking hands, meeting people. So that being said, that's why I'm interested to ask you this question, because you meet a lot of people. What do you find is one of the top 1 or 2 things that people do wrong when they're out there trying to network?
They don't express how they do what they do differently than their competitors. If I were to talk to a business owner and I go, hey, I know an insurance guy, his response is going to be, great, I know 5 of them myself. But if I can say, look, I know David Hilshad, and this is why you need to meet my friend David. Yes, he does insurance, but here's the value that he brings that no one else in his space is going to be able to deliver. I make impactful recommendations and referrals, and I get an abundance of rewards because of the way that I do it. So the downside is when I'm talking to people that they're not able to express. They can tell me the product or the service they do, but they don't always come to the table with, this is why I am different and why I'm a value add to the people that need me. And that's the biggest problem, is they don't know how to express how they're different and better than others.
So it might be one of the things that the people listening who are guilty of that might need to work on. So the first thing to say, why am I different, or what makes my process or product, and not just focus on product, but the value add different than others. And why should people want to do business with me? It almost sounds like that's where they have to start that value add statement or something. Would you agree, or would you give me a slant to that? Because I'm not claiming that I'm the expert on that.
Well, I would agree with that, because that's the way it worked for me. But, it is somewhere where I have an associate of mine that does nothing but knock on doors and cold calls. And when we first started in our careers, he had quicker success. But the thing about that process is, next month, next year, 5 years from now, in order to continue that and maintain that success, he has to continue to do that. But by being a connector and a good referral to other people, I've slowly built, month after month, year after year, solid referral partners that give to me for a reason. Like, they want to find opportunities for me because I'm out there doing the same thing. So, I think anyone could do this, but it's walking a tightrope where a lot of people are like, well, after 6 months, I'm not really seeing the return. Where I never looked at it, it's like a 401k. I'm just going to keep depositing in it, and I'm not going to look at the balance. I know I'm going to get a good return at the end of the day. I'm just going to keep giving and giving and giving. And it's just a mentality that I learned from my father, that, I'm just going to help where I'm able to help, regardless of you wanting to work with me or not. If I see a need and I have someone that can solve it, I'm going to help out. Even if that one customer never becomes mine, the person I introduced to them is certainly appreciative, and I've built a stronger and better bridge that way.
Man, that's awesome. I love it. So, Mark, first off, I can talk to you about this all day. I love it. But we're about out of time. So that being said, if somebody wants to connect with you or learn more about what you're doing over at PayTech Trust, what's the best way for them to reach out?
Well, find me on LinkedIn. I'm constantly on LinkedIn. I do guerrilla videos where I interview businesses on a weekly basis. So I'm always on LinkedIn. They can look up on my company website, paytechtrust.com, or they can email me at Mark, M-A-R-K, at paytechtrust.com. And I'd be more than happy to speak with them. If I can be an asset and a valued resource, I'd love the opportunity.
Fantastic. Well, hey, Mark, really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about your background and also your awesome approach to being of value in networking and the way you're doing it. Very unique and not an easy thing to accomplish year after year and to grow that trust in that base. So awesome stuff there. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you learned a lot and got a lot from this episode. If you did, don't forget, subscribe to the podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave us some comments on the YouTube video. Love to have you join our community there. Subscribe. Love to hear your thought process and insight on networking and what you've been able to do or your slant on it. And continue the conversation. Let's not let it die here. And Mark, thanks again for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.